everyone, it's Lisa here. I'm back today with the February 2021 release for Picket Fence Studios. I'm going to start off by showing you the slimline stencils, but first off I'm going to show you the card that I created with the new slimline flower, centre flower stencil. So here is my card here. This was created using the slimline die cutting system. So I cut the panel using the smaller rectangle from that system, and I did some simple ink blending through the stencil. I used 3 different oxides for this. All the details are going to be over on my blog. And then I just adhered that down onto a base card. So that's the card there for you. Here is the stencil. So this is the slimline centre flower. As you can see here, you've got this kind of large floral image in the centre, and you've got 2 at either side. So you can actually create a card by highlighting those 3 areas, or you can do what I've done and just actually ink blend through the whole lot. So here are the rest of the stencils in this month's release. You've got a slimline English brick wall stencil. That was a bit of a mouthful. You do have a 6x6 version of this, and I'm going to show you that later on as I've got a card with that version. But that is the slimline version. So if you're into slimline cards, all these stencils are fantastic. And some of them, of course, you can use on an A2 as well. This is the slimline movement stencil. I absolutely love this. I think it's one of those stencils that really stands on its own. I just love the way the movement sort of from left to right. So I think that's a really, really great stencil, and that does also have a 6x6 version. Then you've got the slimline gradient scale stencil here. Another lovely stencil, would be brilliant to pair with any kind of ocean themed or mermaid themed stamps that you might have in your stash. And then this is a slimline basket petals. Now this was actually part of the January release, but I didn't have it in time to show you in that video. So they did have a 6x6 version of this, and they now have the slimline basket petals version as well, or the slimline version as well. So that's that one there. Next up, I'm going to show you the dies from the release. This is a Negative Sparks cover plate die. Really, really pretty die. This is American A2 size, so it fits an A2 panel perfectly. I just love cover dies. I think they can really work on their own, but they are also great for adding background interest. So this is the card that I created with that die. I'm very clean and simple. What I did was I watercoloured a couple of panels, and I sat one of them behind some white cardstock that had been cut with that die, and then I added a words die set on top. So you'll see that coming up in a moment, but I think it's really, really pretty. I have seen somebody on the team do this as a die cut inlay, which I didn't attempt. That was way too fiddly for me, but she did a brilliant job of it. So make sure you head over to the website to obviously see all the examples from the design team. But yes, that's how the Negative Sparks cover plate die looks. So I'm going to show you the word dies that we are releasing this month. The one that I've used on my card there is called You Are the Best. So you can see it spans an A2 card horizontally. Very good also to use in the slimline format if you're doing a horizontal slimline. And that's the die set there. You've got the shadow, which I cut from watercolour panel, and then you've got the individual words as well. So that's that one there. I actually stacked mine up for dimension. I've got 3 of these cut and adhered together and stacked up. So yeah, really like how that sits, the kind of size of that against an A2 panel. And the other word dies are Thank You. Really, really beautiful font. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit here. just so that you can see it better. Again, you've got the shadow and then you've got the word die as well, and that is the thank you that I used on this card, so you can see how that looks in terms of its size and font. And I used a black cardstock for the shadow element of that. The other two dies you've got is a Hey You die, and I've got that coming up soon. I've used that on one of my later cards, and also you've got one called Seriously, which I haven't yet used on a card. So that covers the dies for this release. So what I'm going to do now is just show you a couple of the stamp sets and also the 6x6 stencils. So I'm going to start off by showing you this set. This is called Nothing Short of Amazing, and this is the image that you get in there, and it's got some really lovely sentiments. It's kind of designed for a mum to send to a daughter, but you've also got this one up here, you are nothing short of amazing. So I think you could actually use this for anyone. You are my greatest gift, and then it talks about a daughter is a miracle that never ceases to be miraculous. So it is very much designed with that in mind, but I've used it in a slightly different way because mine isn't, my sentiment comes from a different set, so it's not for mums and daughters. But I think this is wonderful. I think you could have really a lot of fun with this hair. On my card I've kept mine quite plain, you'll see that in a moment, but you could make this kind of pink or purple or like a bluey grey or something, and then just, you know, it's such a statement on a card. I think you can really go to town with the colour of her hair. So that is the stamp set, and this is the card that I created. So I kept mine kind of really, I don't know, I kind of wanted this cool contemporary vibe with like a brick wall in the background. So I just stamped the image a couple of times in black and white. And then I got the new 6x6 English brick wall stencil out, and I did like an ombre stenciling with the paper glaze. I used 4 different colours of paper glaze, and I just sort of created this kind of dark to light ombre up behind the image. So I really like how that turned out, and I think if I tilt that there, you can really see the shine of the paper glaze. It is so pretty in real life, and the colours are just gorgeous. I did mix one of the darker greens with a white just to get that kind of in-between filler colour there, but really, really pretty colours, and that's what I decided to do with that image. And this sentiment here, sometimes it physically hurts to hold back the sarcasm. What a great sentiment. Perfect for me, in fact. And it actually comes from a set called Driving the Karma Bus. So this is one of the sentiment sets released this month. You've got lots of different sentiments here, all kind of designed around you know, my dream job is driving the karma bus, stay calm, karma has been notified. Another quirky stamp set, very typical of Picket Fence Studios to release something like that, and I think it's great fun. So here are the 6x6 stencils. That is the English brick wall one, which I used on the card I've just shown you. You've also got the 6x6 movement stencil. That is, I showed you the slimline version of that earlier on. And then you've got one here, which is the twine stencil. I didn't get to use this. They do have a stamp set which stamps the twine. I think it's this version of it. I don't know if they have that too in a stamp version. I don't think so. But so they've now brought out a 6x6 stencil where you can stencil this onto your card. And this is the centre flower 6x6 version. So I have a card coming up next which I can show you how I've used that, but there is the slimline version which you saw earlier in this card. So it really looks great as a slimline and really looks fab as 6x6 as well. You've got just the one big kind of floral image centered across the stencil there. So here is the card that I created with this stencil. I'll just remind you that is the stencil there. And you can see how I've used the paper glaze again on this card. I just used the gold, it's called Golden Rose and Artemisia Silver. Both really, really beautiful. Again, you can see the shine there when I tilt it to the light. So I just did a little bit of gold at the top and the bottom, and then I filled the rest with silver, just kind of merging in between. So there is, you know, they're not kind of straight lines. It just looks like it's been blended a little bit. And then I took this sentiment here, is from the new Fancy Congratulations sentiments. And that is this set here. So they bought out, Picket Fence has bought out a number of these sentiment sets over the last year, and in this kind of scripty font, which is really, really pretty. So that is the Congratulations set. You've got Best News Ever, It's Your Special Day, Oh Happy Day. So you've got all of those there. There's 6 sentiments in that. And you do have a coordinating die set as well, so that really means that you can kind of maximise your use with those sentiments. So on my card here, I just stamped mine with Versa Mark ink, and that was just heat embossed with a kind of platinum embossing powder. I think it was actually called Liquid Platinum, the one from Ranger. So really, really pretty card, and of course an excuse for me to get the paper glaze out again. Just moving on to the final sets of stamps. So this is another of the larger stamp sets. This is called Hello, and this image here is all kind of in one, you know, it's one stamp and it fits an A2 card perfectly. So lovely set if you want to colour. It's got some really nice sentiments too. The world is better because of you. I hope your day has been wonderful. Happy thoughts have arrived for you. The arrival of all the shoes in a circle. You are deeply appreciated. So a really, really lovely set. This is the card that I created. I actually decided to create a masculine card. I think it's a set that can be used for both. You do have kind of some female shoes there, but aside from that, they're kind of, you know, they can be anything. So you can make this masculine or feminine, and I decided to go for a masculine card. So I stamped it out and I just coloured it basic colouring with Copics, and I actually coloured the background as well, just like a warm grey. So it's a bit less kind of stark than a white card. So that was how I used that stamp. And then I used the Hey You word die, which I showed you earlier. You can now see the size of that against an A2 card, so it fits really nicely across on a horizontal, and you can actually split them out as well to, they're not joined as you can see there, so you can have them staggered across the card as well. And then that sentiment, Life Sucks Without You, is actually part of this little ditty set here, which is called Life Sucks Without You, and it's like a get well, I miss you, and there's a little hand there that you can include with it. So that's a really, really small little set, but I really like the sentiment, so I thought I would add that onto my card there. And then 2 more sets that I need to show you. We've got 1 more sentiment set. This is called Ways to Express Yourself. Loads of different options there. You are on top of the world. Stamp your heart out. I'm over the moon, happy for you. Difficult to see here, obviously, because of the camera, but head on over to my blog and you'll be able to take a look at all the pictures. I've got links to all of the sets on there so you can see them in more detail. But you've got Heard It From the Horse's Mouth, Once in a Blue Moon, You Crack Me Up, That's a Kick in the Can, that's quite fun as well, Break a Leg. So that's that sentiment set there, Ways to Express Yourself. And then finally, this is called Bless Your Heart. I mean, if this isn't perfect, This time in the history of our world, I don't know what is. So it's laughing my freaking mask off. I've seen a fabulous card from one of the design team. She's actually created a mask. So she's got the LMFMO as at the top of the card, and then she's included this sentiment as well. So really, really good. This is just a little stamp set here, so you've just got those 3 sentiments included there. So that brings me to the end of the reveal for you. So just a reminder again of my cards, and all the products are going to be linked below and over on my blog. I will have 2 blog posts going up today, one today and one tomorrow, where I talk about each of the cards in a little bit more detail. So you'll be able to find out a bit more about them if you want to over there. So thank you again for joining me. I will be back again next month with the new release, and in the meantime, happy crafting.